On behalf of the NCAA, the University of Oklahoma, and our local organizing committee here in Oklahoma City, welcome to the 2014 NCAA Wrestling Championships. We're joined by 4 student athletes. At this time, we'll have one more who's en route, so ask you to set your cell phones to off or stun at this time to not disrupt the proceedings. And I'll open it up for questions for the student athletes. Please ID yourself and who your question is for. All
right. Mark Bader from Flow Wrestling. I'll start off one for Tony Ramos. Tony, looking at the brackets, it seems like you're on a collision course with shot for the semifinals, not getting ahead of ourselves, but you beat him by a major decision last year. He gave you a loss at Edinburgh this year. Do you feel like he's closed that gap on you, or was it just something else?
No, I don't think he closed the gap at all. I just made a few mistakes. I even gave myself an opportunity to win the match at the end, just didn't return to the mat, let him walk out of bounds. There's a lot of weaknesses that we've noticed in watching film on him, and if I do wrestle him in the semis, I think I'll exploit that a lot.
From Mike Penn, Win Magazine. Chris, this is for you. You're the last of the Smith-Perry family that's wrestled for Oklahoma State. Would you talk about being the last of the line of the wrestlers that come out of that family and the fact that it's happening here? And do you remember the last time it was in Oklahoma City?
Yeah, well, we actually have another one coming up. Coach's son's coming up, so that'll be another year or two, I think. So that won't be the last. But yeah, I mean, it's good to have it in Oklahoma City. I think it was 2006. I think my brother was here, and so I think he was third or something. I think he went up a weight. I think he was at 74 that year. But it's good. It's just another tournament. It's how we look at it. We don't make it a bigger deal than it is.
Gary Abbott with USA Wrestling. This is for Tony, Kendric, and Chris. All of last year's champions that competed this year have suffered at least one loss. How did you guys keep a positive attitude, which carried you through the conference tournaments and here to the NCAAs? Obviously, winning an NCAA title is very difficult, and it seemed that the defending champs had some challenges this year. Tony, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. The Big Ten schedules, obviously, at heavyweight especially, there's a lot of great guys, 8 of the top 10 in the country, I think, there. And, once you get on that, where you get a loss in there, you suffer a loss, it can get to your head a little bit. And, January was a rough month for me. But, I got some extra time off and was able to work in the room and, fix some things where that got my head back on track. And, nothing's going to come to you here at the NCAA tournament, so you got to work for it. And, I feel good right now, and I'm excited.
Kendric?
I'd say I had a great support system at Oklahoma. Got family. All the fans really support me and just believe in God. And it's really just helped me through all the losses, dealing with that adversity. And right now it's 0-0 going into this tournament.
Chris?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing that they said. I think all great wrestlers know that the big tournaments are the only ones that matter. It doesn't matter what happens during the year. Suffer losses wherever, but if you win here, everybody forgets about those losses. So I think all great wrestlers know that.
Thank you.
Douglas Miles with the Gazette at Cedar Rapids. This question's for Tony Ramos. You've never been one lacking for confidence, but kind of talk about the boost your confidence got from the win in the Big Ten last week.
I think the boost it gave me is, just getting over the hump of actually not finishing second and everything. So it was a reliever. Felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. So I think coming into here, it's going to let me open up a lot more and wrestle even tougher and just let it fly even more going into this tournament.
Can you also talk a little bit about the younger wrestlers on the squad, guys that are making their first appearance here? You guys have words of wisdom for those kids and what to expect, what not to expect?
The younger guys we have like Clark and Grothis, they're tough guys. They're real tough guys. I wrestle them in the room and, just keep reminding them, you guys are competing with us. There's no way you should be getting beat by 25-pounders. Clark's tough. He's real tough. He can give you a go, and we're excited about him. And I really think that anything can happen with him. It's just keeping his head straight and keeping him going the right way. I think at Big Tens he suffered that loss, and he was just worried about that semifinals, the rest of the tournament, what he did wrong, and how he could have won it, and how he could have did this and that. So we just got to keep his head going forward, and things will happen that he wants to happen.
Trent Shader with the Oklahoman. David, I'll have you take this first. What's your opinion on the finals order not being set until after the semifinals on Friday night?
I think that it's good for wrestling if you have exciting matches throughout the finals. But that being said, it's NCAA finals. I don't think there's much need to change the order up that often. It's been set for a really long time, and you're gonna have great competitors at every single weight. But it just kind of adds a little something in addition to when you're wrestling to try and be that last match. It's something that's pretty exciting and something you don't forget.
Tony, could you answer that same question? I know you're probably used to wrestling last. What's your
Yeah.
opinion on it?
Yeah, no, it was a little different last year, but they have the draws during the year too, and you got to be able to wrestle whenever. And with that full day, sitting around, it's not really going to make a huge difference. I don't think wherever you wrestle, you're going to be ready for the national finals. And viewer-wise, people are going to watch. Like Taylor said, it's the national finals.
Chris, can you answer that as well?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. It doesn't really matter the order for me. I've been first in dual meets. I've been first in tournaments. It just doesn't matter. I mean, you're going to have to step out there and perform either way, no matter what the order is.
Kendric, some wrestlers maybe match up better against others. When you go into a tournament like this, do you look at seeds? Do you have a preference among the top 3 or 4, or do you not really care which ones you're matched up against?
I'd say it doesn't really matter too much. Obviously there's going to be tough guys, whoever steps on the mat, I just got to wrestle my style. Try not to go into whoever style else is on the match with me. I think in the end, it's just whoever shows up and performs.
For David Taylor. David, this has been a crazy year in college wrestling. Lots of upsets, lots of guys you would never think would lose have lost. You're kind of one of the last guys undefeated, and it's your senior year. You've had a phenomenal career. A lot of eyes on you. Does that bring more pressure? Do you embrace that? Are you indifferent to that?
I've been wrestling for a really long time, and I think probably like every single guy here, you vision yourself wrestling in a big stage and in a big team race where you're getting your hand raised in front of a lot of people. I think every great competitor enjoys that, and I think that's just one thing about competing at Penn State is you always have people are always eyes are on you. I've always had eyes on me my entire career, so it's just something that I can't really think too much about, and all I really got to focus on is what I've done my whole life. Let's go out and shake hands and wrestle as hard as I can for 7 minutes and shake the guy's hand, walk off the mat, get ready for the next one. I have 5 matches left to do that, and that's all I can really think about at this point.
As Jason Bryant, the open mat, this question is kind of an open-ended one for all of you. Having been high seeds through a lot of your career in high seeds this year, they changed the seeding to seed 16. Has that gone into any change in preparation, knowing that you could see a guy that previously would have been unseeded, maybe 13 through 16, but now you're going to set, the one's going to see the 16, the two's going to see the 15 if seeds hold. Have you guys given any thought to the new seeding process?
I mean, I haven't. I don't think you really, every round can be tough here if you're not focused and ready to go. Doesn't matter what seed it is, or, last year I had, I think, 5 of them that were close. So it doesn't matter what round it is, if you're not ready to go, I mean, anybody can get beat.
Question is for Kendric. Kendric, undefeated national champion last year at 141. What was the biggest challenge in bumping up to 149 this season?
I'd say just trying to get my actual physical weight up, get it up to the 49, and keep it up there. We've had struggles where it's been down low, where I've been close to 41 at times, but just dealing with it, knowing that weight isn't an issue, just mentally, just knowing that, go out there and be faster, go out there and be everything else technical, and I think we've overcome that.
This is it on? Yeah, this is for Chris Perry. Your weight class is pretty loaded, and you've got a guy from OU that is a past champion, also a great freestyle wrestler, and there's a possibility you guys may meet here at the national finals. What's that like to have both of you guys from Oklahoma possibly battling for a national title here at home, and of course the rivalry between the Sooners and the Cowboys?
I mean, it's good, but it's exactly what I said. You can't make a match yet that's not a match. I mean, everybody might want to see it, but you can't make it. It's not there yet. So we got to take one match at a time. Get ready, and if we meet up again, so be it. And I'll be excited for it.
Tony, this is for you. Minnesota has had a lot of great heavyweight champions, but you could be unique, becoming the first three-timer. Can you talk about that, and the fact that the heavyweights at Minnesota?
Yeah, like you said, starting back probably early 90s with Billy Pierce. He was a three-time All-American. And, ever since then, we haven't, I'd say we've All-Americaned all but 3 years at heavyweight. So we've always had guys coming in, and it's just really awesome to be a part of that, tradition. And, Cole Conrad was just before me. I got to work with him a little bit, and watching him wrestle, and it's special to, be in that class of guys. I look at Cole as one of the, best heavyweights of all time, and, being able to, even accomplish something that he didn't is awesome.
Has he talked to you at all, or any of these former heavyweights, with what you're getting ready to do?
Yeah, Cole talked to me, especially after I went through a few of those losses, and just kind of put me back in my place, and kind of just told me, that stuff doesn't matter, and how I've been there before. No one else has, I guess, out of this class of heavyweights, and when it comes time to do it, I'll make it happen.
Tony Ramos, I think last season, maybe in the last 2 seasons, the only loss has been to Logan Stieber. He moves up, and the entire, probably most people in this room think Ramos is going to run the table. He's going to go to nationals and win it. You dropped 2 this year. Does that change your mentality at all coming in here? Is there a chip on your shoulder? Is there something to prove, or is it pretty much the same?
The plan doesn't change. It's still the same thing all the way through. 2 losses during the season. I don't want to say that they don't matter, because it does matter to me. Things like that do matter. Everything matters. I don't care if it's preseason, regular season, not in the season. I don't take losses well. But coming in here, it's all the same. I want to run through the tournament. I don't just want to win. I want to dominate everyone. I want to dominate every match. And I still think I can do that against anyone I wrestle. It doesn't matter if it's Clone, Shop, Kuroga, Morrison. I don't care who it is. I'm that confident in my offense and my wrestling that I think I can do that.
This one's also for Ramos, third as a sophomore, second last year. What do you think it's going to take to bring it home this year?
Just wrestle open. If I wrestle open, if I don't wrestle tentative, if I'm not tight, that's when my best wrestling happens. I think that was one of the biggest things. It's been my sophomore year when I took third. I didn't start wrestling really open and, just letting it fly till I was on the backside. And that's when I just started winning matches by a lot of points, getting the fall for third place, beating Carter 9-2 or whatever it was. So, just having that same attitude, going out there, having fun with it, and doing what I do best.
Coming off of the Big Ten's second place performance for the team overall, kind of talk about the team's outlook overall.
Yeah, I think we're real excited. I think we opened up a lot of eyes to fans and maybe more media. I know that Penn State and Minnesota and teams like that knew we could compete with them, but I don't know if the media and the fans really thought we could. So I think that really opened up a lot of eyes, and now they see that it's maybe a 3 or 4 team race, and no one's really counted out. We just have to go in there and do our job, and everyone's got to wrestle. It's going to take 10 guys to win the team title. We can't do it with 9 or 8, and we proved that at Big Tens. 9 of us wrestled. We had one guy who didn't do what he was supposed to do. So everyone's got to be ready to go.
This is for Tony Nelson. Tony, you know, with the balance this year, it's a heavyweight class, you've taken a couple hits. When you're a two-timer, are there some advantages to that for you coming in this year?
I'd rather say, you know, I know what it's like to be out on that big stage. I guess compared to some of those other guys, I've been there before, and I know what it takes to put 5 matches together. So I'd say, you know, all these guys are great wrestlers, and you know, whoever's gonna win it, it's gonna take a lot of work and 5, you know, great matches put together. And you know, right now I feel confident that I can do that.
So Kendric Maple, just curious, what was the reason behind deciding to go up from 141 to 149 this year?
Just a scenery change. Nah. Kind of looked at the Olympic weights, wanted to get bigger for that. You know, I wasn't the highest for that, and then just wanted to not have to even think about weight, just go up and have fun. I enjoy wrestling, and it's been fun.
For David Taylor, just you guys are throwing the ball around pretty loose and relaxed this morning. I mean, how do you guys cope with some of the expectations and pressure?
I think, you know, it's think about expectations and pressure. It's, you know, everyone's just how you view that. You know, it's not necessarily pressure, it's an opportunity. We have opportunity to go out and do some special things. You know, each guy, as Tony had said, you know, we have 10 guys on our team, 10 guys made it to nationals, with 10 guys that have the opportunity to go and compete and do something that they want to do and that we want to do our whole lives. And, you know, if you think about no matter how you shape it, you can make it in a negative or positive way. And we're just excited. You know, this is the national championships. You know, this is something that happens once a year. It's something you think about your whole life. And you know, for me, this is the last one. I've gone out and wrestled away my whole life, and I'm not going to change that. You know, I'm not going to stop throwing the ball around and having fun and joking around, because that's just my personality. That's just something that makes us special at Penn State.
Follow-up for David. Talk a little bit, it's a senior year, you mentioned that, and you and Ed Ruth have really had a big impact on college wrestling. Are you guys going to have an opportunity to maybe enjoy your NCAA tournament this year? And what's it been like to go through the journey with him and some of the other guys to help build this Penn State program to be, you know, the elite program it's become under the years that you guys have been there?
I mean, I guess the biggest thing is, you know, thinking back, how grateful I am that I chose Penn State, and how grateful I am that, you know, Ed and I happened to be on the same team at the same time, and having each other push each other as we've gone through our last 4 years. And you know, I can start naming guys that have contributed to the success of our team. It would be an endless list, because we've done it as a team for the last few years. And I'm just really lucky to be around a lot of great people that, you know, encourage the right attitude and the right way to compete, you know, each and every time we step on the mat. And I think, you know, Ed and I both, and every other guy on our team, we just want to go out and enjoy the opportunities that we have to go compete this weekend and do the best that we can. And if we can, I think good things are going to happen for us. And that's about it.
Couple more questions.
Yeah, this is for any one of you guys who wants to answer it, or all of you. You know, there's been talk about trying to put more emphasis on duels and dual team championships and stuff like that. This is the weekend when y'all get to be a little bit selfish. And can you imagine a situation, a scenario where this isn't the big weekend of the year, and just how big is it to have this tournament meaning what it does? And for all you guys who are also in team races, both individually and team.
I think it says a lot about, you know, as a team, when you're matching up against one other team, maybe you can determine who you think the best team is. But wrestling's growing. There were over 10,000 people in the Big Ten championships last week. I think national championships and that type of stuff should be decided in front of the biggest fans. And I think whatever we're doing is working right now. I don't necessarily think there's a reason to change that.
Same along those lines. I'm actually not a big fan of making duels count towards the end of the year. I like the national tournament. I like how things are now, and it should stay how it is. It is growing. The sport's growing. We need more athletes that wrestle exciting and score a lot of points. I think that's going to help grow the sport. I think, if you want to do something with dual meets, is build up more matchups between guys. Build up the matchups between the number 1 and number 2. Get that on ESPN. Get something like that. You don't need to make it count towards the end of the year to make it grow the sport. You need to build up the athletes themselves. Build up maybe Taylor wrestling more, or Ruth and Lofthouse, something like that. Get it, or Nelson and Telford. Have the media build that up before the duel even starts, and people are going to watch it. That's the kind of things we need to do better as a sport, I think.
Final question?
Kendric, from the team perspective, you guys have some big expectations this year. You've got 8 in the tournament. Dealt with some injuries. What do you think would be, I guess, considered a successful season for you guys? What would you have to do here, I guess?
I think everybody just performing to their abilities. We had some problems. We had one guy get cauliflower in his nose. I don't know how that happens, but but we've had some adversity, and but we're all healthy now. We're all ready to go. As long as everybody wrestles one match at a time, the sky's the limit. Who knows what's going to happen. We know what our goal is.
Okay, thanks to our student athletes. Gentlemen, again, good luck. Welcome to Oklahoma.